But today, we learned why Trump may be acting like this. According to a new book called Fire and Fury, Donald Trump didn't want to be president. He didn't want him to win. There's a name for that. The majority of American voters. Trump was planning on failing and walking away with the fame and the money. Or as the article describes it, this was a real-life version of Mel Brooks' The Producers. Now, in some ways, it still is. I mean, just look at all the happy Nazis. It's... What? Am I being too hard on Nazis? Didn't realize we had so many Nazi fans here tonight. It's a brilliant plan, but then tragedy struck. He won. Donald Trump Jr. told a friend that on election night, his father looked as if he had seen a ghost. Melania was in tears and not of joy. Really, Melania cried on election night. That is the first thing we have in common. Other than, of course, our smoky eyes. The campaign, thank you. No, thank you. The campaign was in such disarray that his closest advisors had no faith in him, like Trump strategist and Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black. Steve Bannon. You got any sugar water? When he came on board in August, Bannon thought the campaign was done for. He described it as the broke dick campaign. And the campaign struggled with a candidate who had no previous government or military experience. Our previous president was a professor of constitutional law. But in Trump's campaign early on, a campaign staffer was sent to explain the Constitution to the candidate. You can't have a president who doesn't know what the Constitution is. That's like a pilot saying,
attention passengers, we are heading toward Houston, so just sit back and enjoy the flight. Oh, one quick thing, if anyone in that back there knows how to get to Houston and land a plane, please just push your call button. And I'm not sure which button that one is, though.
And nobody in Trump's circle seemed to like him very much. For example, right-wing media mogul and man being buried in a face-avalanche, Rupert Murdoch. During the transition, Trump called Murdoch to float an immigration plan that Murdoch thought would alienate his base. When he got off the phone, Murdoch reportedly shrugged and said, "What a idiot." Two things, Mr. Murdoch. One, you're an Australian. You have no right to talk about our president that way. And two, is Australia currently accepting applications? Because I've heard our president is a idiot. Even Trump. Thank you, Mr. Murdoch. All of this proves once again that when it comes to Donald Trump, everything is exactly what you thought it was. His entire shtick is just trying to convince you you're crazy for seeing what's obvious, which makes sense. I mean, that's basically how you sell luxury real estate. Wait, why is this so expensive? And why is your name on the building? You didn't even build it. I'll tell you, because it's got gold leaf and faux marble floors and lots of fancy French stuff, like a bidet and a foyer. And by the way, don't get those two confused. Trust me. And what else? Do you know what else is exactly how you think it is? Trump and his campaign and Russia. Once again, let's go to another bombshell from former Trump advisor and what happens when your syphilis gets herpes, Steve Bannon. In his book, in this book, in this same book, Bannon unloaded on Don Jr. for his infamous Trump Tower meeting with Russians saying, even if you thought that this was not treasonous or unpatriotic or bad, and I happen to think it's all of that, you should have called the FBI immediately. So he thinks Manafort, Don Jr., and Kushner did something treasonous, unpatriotic, and bad. Coincidentally, those are also their Secret Service code names. Best of all, you're welcome. You're welcome. Worst of all, Bannon thinks they did it wrong. The three senior guys in the campaign thought it was a good idea to meet with a foreign government inside Trump Tower when they should have done it at a Holiday Inn in Manchester, New Hampshire. So he's basically saying it was unpatriotic treason. Here's how I would have done it. And Bannon thinks they should have had their lawyers there so that any information could then be dumped down to Breitbart or maybe some other more legitimate publication. More legitimate than Breitbart? So, Bazooka Joe Comics and the placemat at Long John Silver's. Find the maze. Go through the maze.
The golden time of day.
The collusion's at the center of the maze.
Golden time.
And Bannon is not confident that Don Jr. can handle the pressure of testifying before Congress, saying they're going to crack Don Jr. like an egg on national TV. They sure are. CNN is already running a promo.
This is the Senate. This is Don Jr. testifying before the Senate. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. How soon can that happen? This afternoon, Super Bowl ratings. Super Bowl ratings.
Super Bowl.
This afternoon, Trump fired back hard. Steve Bannon has nothing to do with me or my presidency. When he was fired, he not only lost his job, he lost his mind. Now all he has to do is lose his dog, and he's gonna have an awesome country song. Still, thank you very much. Still, lost his mind, that's pretty harsh. I mean, what kind of stuff has Bannon been saying since he was fired?
Every person in this country should get down every night and thank God Donald Trump is president of the United States.
Clearly insane. Donald Trump even downplayed Bannon's role in the campaign, saying, Steve was a staffer who worked for me after I had already won the nomination. Yeah, Bannon was just a staffer, or as some people pronounce it, campaign CEO. Though Trump argued Steve had very little to do with our historic victory. I do agree with Trump there. That victory was the selfless, uncredited work of one eager young staffer. Trump never learned his name. Don't know who that kid is.
I didn't meet him.
That kid's going places.
I never met him. Yeah.
Trump wrapped it all up by saying that while he and his supporters are trying to build the country back up, Bannon is simply seeking to burn it all down. I mean, this guy's crazy. I mean, he got me elected. Even I didn't want that. We got a great show for you tonight. Wow, what a cliffhanger. What's gonna happen in the next Late Show video? Click subscribe to find out.